Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ace. Today we played a $2,000 pot with pocket queens, and I cannot believe what my opponent had. Just blew my mind, sent me straight packing right back to the airport, right back to Jersey. Here's part 2 from the Hustler Casino. Let's get right into it. Welcome back to the vlog. Look at the time at the top. It is around 7 p.m. What does that mean? I have a red eye at midnight, 12 a.m. So I am here for about 2.5 hours. I Ubered here. I left my luggage at the front so I could play a quick 2-hour session. No one loves this more than me. Hope you guys appreciate the grind. So that's why for the first hand, we defend the big blind with Queen 9 offsuit. Let's get right into it. When I flop a queen, I still decide to check it over to the initial raiser, and he decides to check back, so we're going to a turn, which looks pretty good. Now it's time to get some value. He obviously still could be ahead, but like I said, I have a queen. I'm going for some value. I bet $30 and he makes the call. We're going to a river, which is beautiful. Yet another queen. I don't think he's going to believe me. Time to size up. I bet $115. It'll be so gross if we get raised, but it doesn't come to that because after a little while, my opponent decides to flick in the call. I show him the beautiful Queen 9 offsuit and he says, nice hand. And we drag in the first pot. Nice to get a little bit of a cushion, and let's head to the next hand. This table is a bunch of lames though. They didn't want to do the PLO double board bomb pot, so we're just doing single board bomb pot. Boo. And in the first one we get 6-4 offsuit. So yeah, nothing here, but hopefully we can get into a big one later in the session. Which brings us to the first interesting and very interesting pot of the night with Queen 8 suited. We decide to call a $25 raise. From the cutoff, just me and him are in the hand. The flop is nothing, so when he checks, I obviously check it back. Turn comes an ace. We still have absolutely nothing, so when it comes to me, I check, and bingo, we hit the river, we drill the second nut straight, and now the cutoff just comes out and overbets the pot to $80. What? And when it just checks all the way to the river here, I mean, what are they gonna have? He could be betting a set. He could have pocket jacks on the river. He could have 2-pair. He could have checked ace 10. He could have been checking ace jack. Now he's going for some value. And honestly, the way he bet it out and the way he was playing literally was screaming to me to just call, but obviously that is just such a nitty thought, and we have the second nuts. We have to be going for value here. And overbets on the river by recreational players are just never bluff. It's always nutted hands, so we just basically have to think, does he have king queen or not? So I take a peek. He has about $300 left, no other size. We decide to go all in and watch what happens.
When you texted me, it was 5 How much is that?
It's covered.
I call.
We might be good here, and then he flips over the effing nuts. What do you mean, how much is it? What do you mean? All right, I call. You have the goddamn nuts. What are you doing? All right, so now I am completely pissed off. So yeah, what a crappy way to start, but let's see if we can get back at this guy who was being annoying all night, and let's head to the next hand. All right, so we could get it back with a good hand, or we could get it back with a bad hand. We look down at Queen 2 suited, correction, Queen 3 suited. It's a bit hard to remember these absolute premiums of a hand. Pre-flop, it folded to me, so I opened it up to $20. We only have the button, small blind, and big blind to get through, and that's not what happened, as just the big blind makes the call. But the good news is the flop comes. It comes ace high, which is better for me, but we also have a flush draw, so when it checks to me, I decide to bet out for $20. Maybe they'll think I'm tilted, I'm fuming. It was the very next hand. Maybe I could hit my flush and get paid, who knows, but just the big blind makes the call. So we're going to a turn, and bink, we hit the queen high flush. What a good hand I've got now. Queen 3 suited, it never loses, right? So he decides to check it to me. I am obviously not checking it back. I want to continue betting. That's what I would do if I was bluffing. So I bet out for $55, and once again my opponent flicks in the call, and he only has about $200 left, so it seems like he's in here for the long haul. We're going to a river hoping for no board pair. Not that it would change, like I would still be jamming, but the river comes and it's clean. He checks it over to me, so I'm going to continue, follow through with the plan. I go all in, and now he goes deep into the tank. I am praying that it just looks like I'm spewing, I'm fuming. I think that's exactly what it looks like, but too bad, I've got a flush. And after a little while, he flicks in the call. I show the flush. He mucks, we take it down. We get it almost all back right away, so we're just right back to even. Let's head to the next hand. Are you part of this percentage of people that is not subscribed to me on YouTube? Okay, seriously though, please hit the sub button so I can make a lot of cool content going forward. Thank you guys. And now for the next hand, we have King Queen, so maybe we can win with that one. We're under the gun, we open it up to $40, and it gets back to the player who I just beat. He rebought only for $300. This is only a couple hands later, and he decides to go all in for $300. And it gets back to me, and it's a super annoying spot because he could be thinking that I'm just a loose, crazy, aggressive player because I just showed Queen 3 suited for a flush. So he could be bluff jamming with Ace 5 suited, any ace we're live against, obviously, besides ace king and ace queen. He could have a low to medium pocket pair, such like pocket 5s through pocket 10s. We're even flipping against pocket jacks. And like I said in the intro, I've only got 2.5 hours to play. I never get to make it out to LA. Who cares? Let's gamble. I decide to flick in the call. Obviously, you should probably only be doing this with king queen suited if you're gonna call with king queen, but like I said, let's get some action in there. We're headed, me and him, all in to a flop in which we flop nothing. We don't even have a club in our hand for backdoor clubs, but wait, the turn is a queen. Did we just suck out? The river comes and he looks disgusted like he's got absolutely nothing. So I say I have a queen, and then he says, oh wait, I have a queen also, and shows ace queen. He said sorry, he wasn't meaning to slow roll me. I don't know how he forgot his hand, but obviously we were in terrible shape, the worst hand we could see, and it's alright. Now we're back down $300. Let's head to the next hand. What's that? You think I suck at poker? Why don't you leave a comment and help out the algorithm and make my video reach more people? You're the best. We get dealt pocket 7s, they don't work out for us. We get dealt pocket 9s, they don't work out for us. And then we finally get ace queen ourselves and get into a crazy hand against the player to my right who beat me with king queen earlier. He's been playing basically every hand, playing loose, crazy, which makes the first hand hurt even more, but time to get some revenge. So he opens under the gun to $40, and under the gun is normally a super strong range. You don't necessarily want to be 3-betting that with not the best hands, but like I said, he's been playing like every hand, so we 3-bet him next to act to $120 with ace queen offsuit. It gets back to him and he's like, all right, I'll give you some action, tosses in the chips, and I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, and he laughs and he's like, we'll see. And he's been doing this annoying thing where he puts just a stack of chips in the middle when he's calling, and he says to the dealer, all right, count it, count it, count it. Like, bro, you got eyes, you could count it yourself and put it in. No need to make the dealer's job harder, so time to get some revenge for the dealers as well. This guy is pissing me off. Let's head to a flop of 229. Obviously nothing for us, but when he checks, we have to c-bet here. We c-bet for $60, and you see him do that annoying shit once again as he just puts in a stack to call, and he's like, all right, count it. So the dealer has to count out the 60 and throw the rest of his chips back. Please, if you guys do this, don't do this. It's so annoying. The dealer has a hard enough job already. They don't want to lean over and have to count your damn chips for you. Just count them. It was $60. Just count them. Put it yourself in. It's not that hard. But anyways, we're going to a turn here of an 8, and he decides to check, and now I think he's going to be weighted to some type of value, maybe like low to medium pocket pairs. He could have ace high. He definitely hasn't really been folding at all, so I want to take the free card here. Maybe it will induce a bluff on the river. So I decided to take a free card here and check it back. Depending on the river, maybe we'll bluff catch, but it doesn't really have to come to that as the river comes a queen, so now we probably have the best hand. And now he just instantly decides to lead out for a chunk of chips. I don't think he counted it, he just grabbed it and tossed it in there. I don't know if that's a tell for value or a bluff, but anyways, we're never folding. But either way, like I said, I think we have the best hand, and he's been crazy loose. We want to get a call by a non-believing 9, a non-believing 8. Who knows what he could have here, but he has about $300 left behind. So I move all in. Hopefully he won't slow roll me again. Hopefully he won't snap call with a better hand. But he decides to just flip over his pocket 4s and say nice hand and fold. That's the type of hand I wanted him to call with, but I guess good fold, and let's head to the next hand. Okay, now we arrive to the most interesting hand of the night, one of the most interesting and weirdest hands that I've played in a very long time. We have king queen offsuit once again on the cutoff, and I decide to open this one up to $20. The button makes the call, and now the big blind decides to 3-bet to $100. So obviously this is a fold until the player to my right limp calls the $100, and like I said, he's been playing almost every single hand. So now when we look at it from a little bit of an outside perspective, I'm gonna have position on both of these players. If the big blind calls, we're still almost last to act, but I'm thinking he's probably going to fold since this is some weird action. Although he's getting some pot odds, but like I said, I'm in position of the initial raiser. I'm in position of this loose, crazy guy. We could cooler them if we flop a straight, flop open-ended and get there, flop 2 pair. You guys get the gist. So although it's super loose, I mean, it might not be super loose to some of you guys, I decided to flick in the call. I don't want to go raising and then have the initial raiser jam. I don't want to go heads up against him. I want to play against both of these guys, especially the loose crazy guy to my right. And now, sort of shocking to me, the big blind flicks in the call as well. So we're going 4 ways here. We each put in $100, $400 in the middle. I'm gonna probably be in a weird spot if I flop something. Who knows, but let's head to a flop in which we flop top pair with the queen. Now we're basically only losing to ace queen, aces, and kings, and obviously pocket queens as well, but that's less likely. There's a flush draw out there. There's so many draws. Ace king of hearts absolutely loves this flop. King jack of hearts loves this flop. The player to my right could definitely have pocket fives. I mean, there's just so much going on here. And now the initial raiser decides to go all in for $200. The player to my right folds and it's back on me, and we have one of the weirdest decisions that I've been in a super long time. And this is the problem with flatting pre-flop, because then the button comes in and now it's super weird because we don't really want to be folding top pair here. How can we call $100 pre-flop and fold when we hit top pair? Like I said, the initial raiser can have so many different types of draws. King jack of hearts, ace king of hearts are all these draws that could be out there. But calling leaves us in such a weird spot because I'm about $1,000 effective and the button covers me. So if I just call, it's going to look a little bit suspicious to where the button can jam over the top of me and just try to get me to fold. He could also come along with a lot of different things, gutters, second pair, but lots of hands that have equity if I just flat call. I don't really know what to do here, but I just don't like folding, so I flick in the call praying that the button is going to get out of the way and we're going heads up with the initial raiser. Not that I think I'm beating the initial raiser, but I don't want to go multi-way here. And we hear one of the grossest, just most disgusting things ever as the button says all in. And now I am puking, and like I said, my call here can definitely signify weakness. On the other hand, it could signify strength. Yada. I'm all over the place in this hand, but I don't know. I think now the button can have all of those combo draws himself. I think it's a pretty easy jam here if he has 7-8 of hearts, 8-9 of hearts, king jack of hearts. He's not really going to have ace king of hearts, but basically any combo of hearts is not only certainly live, but a great hand to try to push me out of the pot with. He could have a weaker top pair trying to just do something crazy with queen jack. He could have flopped, obviously, queen 10. He could have pocket fives. I don't know. I'm in a weird gambling mood and I peek over at the button, and I never really rely on live tells, but this guy looks like he wants to vomit all over the table. He looks extremely nervous. I don't even know how to describe it to you guys, but I can just get the radiating feeling of this guy is nervous. His heart is pounding. I can see the pulse on the side of his neck. I don't know if that means he's just excited, he's in a huge hand, he flopped a set and he's just nervous, or if he's got a massive draw, one of those 7-8 of hearts, 8-9 of hearts like I said. But after a while, something just told me to call, so I'm here to gamble. I'm only here for a little while. Let's do it for the vlog, baby. I flick in the call and we're going to a run out. Nobody shows their cards, and oh my god, the turn is a king. We turn 2 pair, and now we're beating basically any hand that we were afraid of, and some gut shot straight draws get there, but now we're feeling a little bit better about the situation. I still have no idea what either of these players have, and the river comes, the most disgusting card in the deck, the jack of diamonds. Oh my goodness, any ace makes a straight, any 9 makes a straight, I'm going to vomit. And the player to my left shows ace queen, so we were in a horrible spot, but we turned a 3-outer and then we get rivered. I guess that's justice, And get a load of this, the original raiser had ace-8 of clubs. What is he doing? He just went runner to get lucky and even chop some of his money. So we were massively ahead of him. If we decided to jam this flop, 3-bet this flop, ace-queen might have folded. This was just one of the weirdest hands I've ever played. This is why you just fold it pre-flop, and I know I'm playing like hot ass right now, but we just have to keep it on going. Excuse me, what's that? You said you're not subscribed to Ace Poker? Psh. Okay, honestly, I lied. I think this hand is weirder and even crazier than the last hand. If you thought that was impossible, just watch and see for yourself. We are just tilted and annoyed at our bad play. We rebought for $1,000. So we look down at pocket queens. What a better hand to get back with when everyone at the table thinks that you're a shitty fish and you're just tilted. And I'm in the small blind, even better, and now the hijack opens to $20. I 3-bet to 60, and he makes the call. So we're going heads up to a board of deuce 3-8 with 2 diamonds. I don't have a diamond. I decide to c-bet here for $80, around 2/3 pot, and my opponent thinks about it for a really long time and then decides to flick in the call. I don't really know what a little bit of a tank and a call is. I think all flush draws are probably raising, trying to just pile it in against the shitty player here. He could have a low to medium pocket pair. He could just have an 8 if he was raising 8-9 suited and calling a 3-bet. So anyways, we're going to a turn which is just absolutely beautiful, a deuce. Although the front door flush comes in, like I said, I think a lot of those flushes are going to raise, but now it's a great card because even if a 9 comes or a card that gives him 2-pair, we have a better 2-pair, so I don't think there's any reason to stop firing here. I bet $210, and I know this seems like a lot, and I'm going to be value owning myself against a flush. Like I said, it appears I'm tilted, it appears I suck at poker, and maybe we can get him to hero call all the way down with an 8, a low pocket pair himself. I think this is the perfect spot to do that in, so I think it's a perfectly fine bet. And once again, he tanks for quite a long time and flicks in the call, so I think he's got definitely one of those hands. He could have 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s. He even could have an overpaired 9s, 10s, jacks. I think we've got him on the hook. We just need a clean river and we can get all the money, and that's exactly what we see as we see a 4. Obviously losing 2 pocket 4s now, but other than that, I think it's perfect. So there's only one move to do here. We set it up perfectly. I go all in for $600, and my opponent looks disgusted, sits back in his chair. He tanks for a super long time, like 2 minutes of real time. And although that might not seem like a lot in poker, that's quite a long time to be sitting and thinking about a decision. And after a while, his voice shaky, he says, I call. So I flip over the queens, proud to take down this pot because we're definitely good, right? I show the queens, my opponent looks at the board, looks at his cards, waits a little bit, and shows 7 deuce suited. Are you kidding me? That's twice tonight that I got absolutely slow rolled, absolutely nit rolled. What do you think I have here? I'm the only hand you lose to is a flush. If I have a flush, you're beat. You have to put it in. You have trips, you idiot. I mean, how lucky do these people get? They just have deuce 7, they fucking flop a deuce, and they turn another deuce against queens? Like, what is going on here? But it's a bit late now, and although I want to put more money on the table and play with these goddamn fish all night, I've got a flight to catch, so I go outside, and I am greeted by the cold, dreary LA night. This weather definitely represents my mood. It's time to go back to Jersey with my head down, my tail tucked between my legs, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this 4-part series, The Lucky Lady and The Hustler. I'll be back out here soon for revenge. Peace out. I'll see you guys next week for my biggest win ever. Stay tuned, hit that sub button. Peace out.